Hi everyone, welcome back to Dev Explores. This week's a slightly different kind of video. I've taken a lot of old footage and put it together from my cruise days. So I'm not sure how this is going to work out, but we'll find out. In the fall of 2016, I was going through some personal issues and I was struggling. What does anyone do who is struggling a little bit in life but jump on a ship? Working on a ship was never my dream. In fact, only about a year before I actually ended up on the ships, I'd had a conversation at Disney World with one of my managers there who'd been suggesting different things to do after the international program that I was on. And she was suggesting the ships, and I'd researched it and looked into it and decided it wasn't something that really excited me. Fast forward about 6 months in there and I was applying to work for Disney Cruise Line a few months later, and in the spring of 2017 I was jumping on a plane and flying out to Orlando to go embark on the Disney Magic, where I was going to work for, unknown to me, 18 months and 3 different contracts. So this video, like I said, it's a little bit different. It's a lot of my old footage, and at the time I didn't vlog. I took a lot of photographs and I took some videos here and there, so it's taken some time to try and organise that together. When you're on the ship, you couldn't film in crew areas, you couldn't take pictures in crew areas. It's just a safety and security issue, and completely understandable. Didn't really have much time off, and when you did have time off, you were either out exploring all the various different ports with the limited time off you had, or you were taking time to sleep because you work 10 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week for 4 to 6 months, and it's exhausting. I tried to vlog, I tried to start when I was on the ships and found it incredibly difficult. I just didn't have the time. The internet eats up all your money, so I didn't have the internet to upload anything, and when you're in the Caribbean, even the Starbucks doesn't always have the best internet. I hope you enjoy my pirate adventure on the ships all the same. I'm going to try to do a little series of this. So let's begin at the beginning. So cliche. Let's jump on board. Or no, let's just go for it. So in February 2017, I jumped on a plane from London Gatwick to Orlando, where Disney Cruise Line put me up in Pop Century Resort, one of their Disney resorts, and we got a limited food credit for the 3 days, I think it was 2.5 days that we were there. When I got there, decided I had limited time in Orlando, one of my favourite places, so I jumped on a bus to Disney Springs and went to one of my favourite pizza places down there. Having eaten all the pizza in Italy, I still love this place. The next morning was Traditions. Traditions is like a rite of passage for cast members. Every new cast or crew member that comes to work for the company goes through this class. It's an all-day class and you learn all the basics of the company, of all the standards, of just everything about making magic, and it is such a magical, wonderful class, and I can't wait to go do this again in a couple of weeks' time. So third time's a charm, you know. But it was a day where I met everyone that was in the class with me. Some people went to the same ship as me, some people went to others, and in comparison to the Traditions class I'd done before, this one was incredibly small. Like, I'm talking, there was maybe 100 people in the last one that I'd done, where there was maybe like 15, 20 of us in this one. The workbooks were a little bit lighter. I don't know if they've changed or if it was because they did have Disney Cruise Line on them, so I don't know if the cruise books are more centered around a sort of shorter learning from the book, and there were some stickers at the back with characters for matching them up, which I'd done like this because I'm a Disney freak. But there's a lot of people that on the ships actually go to work on a ship and go for the entire ship life, which I found very bizarre when I first went onto the ships that there was so many people working for Disney Cruise Line that aren't massive Disney fans. The main boss mouse came to visit us. We got our name tags, our blue IDs, and then it was time to begin our journey. Most of us were staying at Pop Century Resort, other than some people that were going to be working in the spa. They were employed by an independent recruitment company. They were staying at a different hotel, but the rest of us all went back to Pop Century, got changed quickly, and met up at the bus stop, because when you've got limited time in Orlando, you're of course going to go to the parks. We headed off to the most magical place in Walt Disney World, the Magic Kingdom. We done some rides, we got a bite to eat, and we finished our evening off by watching the fireworks together. The next day was a new class called Charting Your Course, which is specifically just for Disney Cruise Line cast members. It was a new class. It was a bit different. It went more into the specifics of the service, creating magic, and what guests expect on the Disney Cruise Line. We all put little pins on a board of where we lived, and it's amazing. Unlike when I worked in UK Pavilion before and everyone was from the UK, everyone is from all over the world that works on these ships, and it was quite nice to see that. Straight after the class, my friends and I said our goodbyes. It was kind of heartbreaking. Like, we'd spent the past 2 days all together and we'd formed friendships. But some of them were going off onto the Disney Fantasy, whereas myself and some others were going onto the Disney Magic. And that meant, well, my friends got to enjoy an entire day drinking and having fun around Epcot. I jumped on a coach and we went on a long journey all the way down to Miami.
Lately, been hearing I got crazy. They say I'm full of trouble, living in bubbles. Too late, they say I'm always too late, but I'm just spending my time doing what I feel like. And if you're
We were put into a hotel there, the Crowne Plaza, where everyone that was embarking at Disney Magic, new crew and old, were all staying for the night, including different crew from various other ships that were embarking in Miami Port as well. So it was very busy with crew members, a lot who hadn't seen each other in a few months. Again, they gave us a monetary value on our rooms so we could get some food. I was really lucky. I have lucked out in every single contract that I have managed to get a room to myself and nobody else there. Normally when you join the ships, when you have your overnight stay in a hotel before you embark, you will be rooming with someone else. I've lucked out every single contract that I have managed to be by myself and got to enjoy a luxurious room to myself. Everything after that was an absolute complete blur. Like, we got up the next morning, I think I was up in the lobby for about 5 a.m. We were all shuffled about. They had brown bags with some breakfast bars, fruit, tea, coffee, fruit juices. So we quickly had something to eat or drink while we were all getting pushed on to different buses, and I was so overwhelmed just wanting to get on the right bus. I knew they all went to the cruise terminal, but it's a big cruise terminal, I learned later. Being the new hires, we got to go onto the ship first. We were told to leave our luggage in this little room while we were given a quick little trip around the ship itself. We were then taken to the Buena Vista Theatre, where we had some safety and security training, some policies. I really honestly don't remember. A lot of life raft training and everything, all just within half an hour of each other at the one time. We had Daria and Alexia, and the two of them showed us around the ship for the entire first day with, right, you need to go get your shoes now. If you're in food and beverage or quick service in any way, you get a pair of black shoes supplied to you. So they showed us where to go to be able to pick up our shoes. They took us to our next training class. They told us where we had to be when we had to be there. We also had a little tour around the ship showing us the fire screening doors, the protocols and emergencies, the code words, everything that we needed to know in case there was any emergency. In the space of about an hour, And after this, you go back to your room, finally taking your luggage with you, only to have your head bursting and completely just thrown so far into the deep end, no pun intended, that you have no idea what is going on. And then we met Alexia and Daria back up on the I-95, which is like the main corridor for crew members. We went into the D lounge where none other than Mickey Mouse came out to meet us and take her picture as a group. And we went up onto deck for the sail away party, which guests also get to enjoy. It has changed a little. In the past 2 years, it's now a new show, but it's still the same atmosphere. It's still a countdown and a party and a celebration for you enjoying your vacation and your cruise and finally sailing off out of Miami and onto your adventure. Homed in a temporary cabin to start with. There was no cabins available for me. All the departments are separated into various stairwells, areas, and usually you room with someone from your department. I was originally roomed with a girl in youth activities, which is like the kids club. So I had a porthole for the first 2 weeks and this was amazing. This was like, it was like staying in a deluxe resort having a view, till I was then moved from deck A down the stairs onto deck B, a bit like Jack from Titanic. To be honest, it wasn't too bad because it meant when the seas did get rough, I was midship as well. So I was in the middle of the ship under sea level, and it meant if the ship got rocky, I was less likely to feel a lot of it, and I didn't hear the waves crashing against that porthole every night. So in a way, it worked out pretty well. Anyways, now we were off, and for the next 2 weeks, it was intensive training on little hours here and hours there with different classes. And then when we arrived at Castaway Cay, Disney's private island, we had our wet drill. Wet drill was so much fun. A lot of people hate it. Some people can't swim and don't really like it. I had the time of my life. I could have done this like over and over again all day. It was amazing. What you basically do is they give you a life jacket and you have to walk off the pier just in front of the ship and basically just jump into the water to know what it's like to jump off of something in a life jacket. You get an immersion suit as well, which is like these sort of spongy foam suits that it's literally just like a big onesie that zips all the way up with feet and like mitts and everything on it, and you have to jump off, and that would never do that again. Didn't like that. That wasn't fun. Didn't know where I was. You literally just kind of go in and just kind of like bounce back up again, but it was odd. I didn't like it. We also had to flip a life raft, so if there's an evacuation or emergency, they can throw rafts off over the ship. Guests usually go in the ones that you will see around the deck, but a lot of crew members have these inflatable ones, and when they're tossed off deck 4 into the water, they don't always land the right way up. So we had to be able to tread water with each other and then swim over in groups of 2 to the life raft, climb onto them, and then pull the rope over and fall back on ourselves. I could have done this all day. I'm a climber, so I love this kind of stuff, and I had so much fun. It was so good. After doing the wet drill, we dried off a bit, and of course we were given a tour of the island. We ended up in the crew beach, because they do give us a crew beach where we had a barbecue. They have burgers, hot dogs, packets of crisps, soda for sale. And that water is... the colour of that water is not something that I'd ever seen before, and it was definitely a paradise beach. Most of Disney cruises go there unless you're over in Europe or Alaska. And it's amazing. It's peaceful. It's like paradise. At some point during our time and our induction into the ship, we also had to pop down to costume. I got given a bundle of costume and more costume and more costume. I had so much costume, it was unreal. Like, it took over my entire closet. There was no room for my clothes at all. And I had so much because I was going to be doing a transatlantic, but instead of waiting about a month to give me this, they just gave me it all at the same time and bombarded it with me. Which, when you're new to the cruise and you don't really know what costume is each day, you're just looking at all these ties and waistcoats and shirts, and some of them you don't even use. They just gave you it because you might need it, and there was so much stuff. It was crazy. If you're in that position, don't worry about it. They will give you a little pamphlet, a little booklet, and people will always be happy to tell you what you're meant to be wearing or when, or have a laugh at you when you come up to work in the wrong costume. Or everyone having their ties tied different, because no one knows how the neckerchief is meant to go until about 10 minutes before service starts. We also got to go see Tangled the Musical. Depending on how much time you've got, you might get to see all 3 shows that are on the ships. We just got to see one because we had quite a busy schedule, and it was fantastic. It's like Broadway standard. Months later, would I have never known that I would be on that stage helping set up for that show during a job interview. But that is an entirely different story. Our fun started to come to an end with Pirate Night, which was the night after Castaway Cay. We got to go back up onto deck and enjoy the fantastic deck show. We start off with a little party, and then the characters come onto the stage, and it ends with fireworks. How many people can say that they've saw fireworks at sea? It's a very fun, just different experience that myself and Lillian again couldn't help but dance along to. And the two of us, after all of these, just wanted to go and enjoy a vacation that we weren't getting to have because we had to go to work afterwards.
Make some noise for Minnie Mouse! And their pirate crew, Chippendale!
Oh, ladies! Are you ready for a party?
Jump, 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 jump!
Please, That's our kind of music. Let's go! We gotta get dancing! Here we go! Come on, everybody!
Embarkation day then came again, And because I didn't have set tables yet, I didn't have my own guests, didn't have to work that breakfast lunchtime, and our proper shadowing full steam ahead on the job training was going to start that very evening with our new set of guests. We usually did in Miami, jumped in the little cruise shuttle, and that took us to Bayside. Bayside Shopping Centre pretty much became like my home. Like, they have Walgreens, a CVS, a Marshalls. So I ended up buying my own bedding because I didn't like the sort of scratchy stuff that they gave you on the ship, which you're allowed to do if you want to do. I used to keep it with other people when I went on vacation, so I could come back, grab it off them, and I'd have my own bedding again. I have a Starbucks. I used to live at that Starbucks for 1, internet, and 2, coffee, because I'm a coffeeholic and I would have time off. Sometimes I would even be working lunch and I'd finish breakfast, go down to Bayside, grab a Starbucks and go back to the ship. If you can make it in time, they have no problem with you doing that. But a lot of people do like to sleep. But I decided I'd sleep on vacation. And there was light. Disney magic. Yeah, I know this vlog's been a little bit different. It's not what I usually do with going out and about. It's something that's a little bit more out of my comfort zone and something that I've not been quite used to doing, or definitely not in a while. But I did just want to do this introduction to give you an idea of my embarkation on the ship and to show you some of the deck parties as well that we got to enjoy on our first week. I'm hopefully going to try to do it by location, and hopefully I do have some footage of Disney's very merry time cruises, because I managed to get a standby. Standby meant that I was basically on standby. I got to enjoy myself, which is how I got to see quite a lot of the shows. I got to enjoy a lot of the Christmas time activities, and I got to go on some crew excursions as well. So hopefully I can share that with you guys in the future. I do hope you have enjoyed this video. It has been a little bit of a mishmash and a little bit all over the place, but I do hope that you still have enjoyed this with my experience in Disney Cruise Line. So if you have enjoyed it, make sure to high five the little like button, hit subscribe for more videos coming up in the future, ring the little notification bell if you want to be notified of when a video comes out, and I will see all of you in the next video. So thank you very much for watching and have a great night.
If everyone knew all the things I could do, should be down, I'm back on my feet, 'cause all I really